I put off doing this one for a long time because the death of DMX comes for me at a time where I've had to spend the last few months and weeks processing the loss of people in my life. And what I think about when I think about DMX, and I go back and listen to his music, what I think about is his albums chronicle his struggle. And that for him, especially in the intro to Slippin', he talks about that the part of the meaningful of life for him was the struggle. It was trying to find your way, no matter how difficult your circumstances are, and getting through it. Putting one foot forward when it really doesn't seem like there's a step there to put your foot down on. But that's what he did. And he did it in the most uncompromising manner possible. And he did it in a way where he wasn't PC. He made everybody, but especially white people, uncomfortable, especially according to Steven Crowder in his little Twitter clip. But DMX spoke the truth. He talked about how he was loyal to his friends almost to a fault, because when you look at the life of DMX, it was hard for him to be loyal to his family. His mother left him at a soup kitchen when he was 9. Just left him and didn't come back. So for him, finding a family that he picked was more important to him. It was loyalty above all else. It was the undercurrent of his songs. But the other undercurrent that I noticed in a lot of his work is a sincere dedication to God, which I thought was interesting. There are 6 prayers to the course of his albums. There's 6 prayers. I included number 6 in the playlist. Really because, and listening to them back to back will shake you. But I can remember a time in my 20s where I was where he was at. We talking about, Lord, give me a sign. I'm still at that now. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where I'm going. And that's grief. That's when you lose the bedrocks in your life and you have to figure out what the meaning is. And not the meaning, and this is what I've seen, just not just from processing my own grief, but just watching other people with the grief of DMX, like Swizz. I watched this video where Swizz Beatz was talking about his relationship with DMX. And he's known DMX since he was 14 or 15. And what struck me by his video is that I guess he did what I would want people to do for me. Don't sugarcoat the way my life was. Don't say I was a great person if I didn't do something great for you. But paint a picture of me that says This is who I was, warts and all, and did you love me anyway? And that's what Swizz talked about. But the interesting part to me, looking around at it, is that you have people that weren't necessarily cool with DMX, who came out talking about, oh, DMX is my blood and we were all cool. And if you need to know anything about DMX, DMX would be the first person to be like, no, we wasn't cool. So I found that kind of ironic. I found that kind of, that the beefs that DMX carried in his life are in some ways kind of characteristic of his death in a way. That all these people who, it's ineffectual to wait until after I'm gone to bury the hatchet. Bury the hatchet will be now. If it's time to bury the hatchet, that's what I guess is the missed opportunity for a lot of people when it comes to X. You couldn't probably get a lot of DMX's music made today in the culture and the climate that we're in. It is, going back through his work was kind of a peek into a time capsule in a way, where you can remember all the parties you were at. I remember a lot of nights staying up playing Def Jam Vendetta with his music all over the tracks of that video game. But I remember trying to draw inspiration from somebody who seemed like he was living out his struggle unabashedly in front of people and making a ton of mistakes. But what I found really interesting is, and I haven't gone through the whole 3 hour, it's 2 hours and 30 minutes of one of his last interviews. We was really talking about his new record and stuff he was going through. And it seemed like he knew. Because they asked him, he's like, you know, how would you feel if you died? He says, if I dropped dead tomorrow, you know what the last thought in my mind would be? He said, I lived a good life. And when I look at where he came from to where he got, even though a lot of parts of his life were messy, and you can see that in the visual surrounding the hospital before he passed. In the end, I don't think his kids are going to have the struggle that he had in a lot of ways. I think his sons, his daughters can look at his example not just as a cautionary tale, but look at the dog and be like, that was my dad. So when I think about my own losses, I look through the mirror and go, I can look at my mentors and my grandmother and my friends that I've lost and people I was close to, and I'm like, I can take little pieces of the things I learned from them and apply those in my life to live my life in a better way. So when I think about it, that's 50 is too early to go. There's no way I should be nihilistic about wanting to die early or try. There's no glory in it. There's no peace in leaving here way earlier than you're supposed to. 50 is too young. 50 years old. DMX should have been an old rapper. DMX should have been coming out of award shows at 70 trying to bark. And people criticizing him for him to edit in barks for him. But what we're left with is the example and the life and the music of DMX. And a soundtrack to the grief. Hopefully the rest of 2021 is not as bad as the beginning of 2021. But as is the motto of our channels, we will keep pressing on. We'll keep moving forward. Always, always forward. So rest in peace, DMX. We ain't going nowhere, DMX. We right here. Thanks.